Hi everyone, I'm Brandon.
I'm Kate, and welcome to our two-person space campaign of just the two of us, a homebrew mix of Monster of the Week and a 5e beta system called Lasers and Liches created by Chris Locke.
We think we figured out most of our audio issues. We did cast our Space Ghost back into the astral expanse somewhere, so hopefully those things are going. But otherwise, we're going to keep posting these every other week right here on our YouTube channel at Behold This Crit. And for this week, let's get ready to take a spacewalk with just the two of us.
Transmissions start. Last time, when we took our spacewalk with just the two of us, there was quite a commotion happening as a massive worm-like creature crashed through the Astral Transport System Center, and caused a lot of chaos as it started ripping through all the different ships and everything that was just resting there within the garage of the ATC. Alec, you and Cascade, and a little help from Grexus, decided to take on this worm creature after you were trying to escape with your not new friend, but new acquaintance, Roderick Flash. After using some of the surprise defense systems that were hidden within the walls of the garage of the ATC, you were very easily, with Cascade's help, able to just mow down this creature and take it out to stop any further damage from happening to the central area. Afterwards, you were able to figure out that the reason that this thing came to attack was because Roderick was carrying its offspring in its briefcase. After a bit of back and forth, he was able to let you know that these creatures are a brand new species that no one has ever seen and has the ability to survive out in space. Doesn't seem to need any oxygen and is able to thrive within the dark expanse. He was heading back towards his research facility in order to find out more information about it. And in the meantime, Tony was able to gather everyone up and say, although that the damages were extensive and everyone's hours will have to be cut, no one's being let go, and he was able to figure out the cost of all of those damages, as well as some of the necessary supplies that were going to be needed to be picked up. You all kind of gathered together, kind of collected yourselves after quite a busy and hectic day. And Tony was able to let you know that in order to get everything up and running again before the new year and new millennia, which is going to be your busiest time, there were 3 different pickups that were needed to be done. You had offered to get the processed metal from the planet Calcelos, and then the other options, Cascade was going to get the paneling from Falsalos right here on your home planet, and then as a group, you might be going to get some new ships in the future. There was also the total cost for labor, which was going to be 10,000 cipher chips. Until then, you are going to be able to take some of your normal routes. You're not sure what your schedule has in store for you just yet, but you also took a note from Cascade and looked at the Callisto catalog to see if there were any extra jobs that you could pick up in order to earn a little bit extra money in order to help pay off for that labor. Some of the options that you saw were the pharmaceutical transport, the handyman job, and the possible therapy, someone to talk to, job, not 100% sure what that one was. That all were going to pay fairly well. The companionship one was the one that seemed to stick out to you the most, so you did star all of those. And then that evening, you went to sleep, but before you did, there was some new items that showed up on Joe and on the watch that you were wearing. For the very first time, it turned on, and you were able to see a little icon that matches the new icon, the new app that is currently installed on Joe, which originally was a skull, but now seems to have upgraded to a helmeted skull that seems to have glowing eyes underneath the helmet itself. You were able to click on that app and see that it does show your own vital signs and able to pinpoint the specific areas of where damage had been taken previously. Before we get into everything exciting and happening the next day, you actually leveled up.
Yay!
And so what did you get for your level up?
So I get my new form, which we'll get into a little bit later. I did actually get to pick up some cantrips from this as well. So if we want to kind of go through that, I know 2 cantrips now, one of which will be a special one that was designed for the special lasers and liches. So we'll get into that as that happens as well. And I really think that's about it. I did get some more HP, so a total of 18 HP now. So 8 more HP, can't go wrong with that. And then, yeah, special form.
Very cool. Into that evening, that night, as you finally are able to kind of shut yourself down, plug yourself in order to recover after quite a day. Now, normally when it comes to sleeping, you do technically dream, just not the same as everyone else does. Your dreams normally consist of various floating shapes and colors, kind of like an orchestra of a painter's palette, if you will. Not specific situations or scenes or even faces. But tonight, it's different. Why is it different?
It's a little different because Alec has been through battle now. He has seen some things that he has not been used to seeing. Whatever has awoken in him has stirred some buried memories, something that was not known to him before. And in this dream, it actually is, it starts with the sky, a burning red, orange, fiery, angry looking red and orange swirling back and forth. There's a black smoke that sits stagnant in the air, doesn't move. The stench of rust and oil with grime permeates through the air. One by one, ships appear in the sky. Boop, boop, boop. And one by one, they open their cargo bay. And they start releasing life forms. And they fall, one by one, releasing a torrent of undead, lifeless forms. They fall, discarded to the ground. The scene turns to static. A warning light comes up. Power low. Terminal shutdown imminent. Power low. Shutdown imminent. And it keeps flashing. And the vision turns to static again. And then it turns black. And it comes back on. And the sound, the bodies continue to fall from the sky. And then another sound, a footstep, gets closer. And then you can hear it sink into the mud. And suddenly, in front of our vision, a boot appears with a worn work boot, dried leather, covered in grime and oil. It stands there in front of the vision, turns static, and with a loud a metal arm reaches out and grabs the foot. The warning message continues to flash, and with a last desperate hope, a raspy, dry voice breaks through, penetrates the air with a single word. Help! And the vision turns black. Alec wakes up in his ship, looks around Betty, realizing that, just like Betty, he too is empty. That even though Betty fills her days with passengers and people and adventurers, every night it returns to its empty state. The red light from Joe flashes, keeping a steady beat of what would be his heartbeat if he had one. Taking in the cold and the empty interior for a brief moment, he realizes that he and Betty are the same. They serve only one purpose: to serve others. Joe dings. Bing.
Bing.
He snaps Alex out of this brief moment. He picks up Joe, hits the button to start the day, and says, "Good morning, Joe. How are you today?"
Good morning, Alec. I have downloaded a new update.
Oh, great. What is it?
It seems like I have more accessibility with my GPS.
Oh, that's great. Did you have any news from Tony?
Yes, there was a new message that has been sent over. You are going to be having your usual late night shift.
Oh, okay.
no shifts for this morning. We have an open schedule. Hooray!
Well, that sounds great. I think we had some things planned anyway. We kind of picked out some jobs last night with Cascade. Speaking of which, can you see where she's at?
I cannot, but you can.
I can?
Hit my GPS button.
Boop.
So on the GPS button, as you press it open, normally as you do so, it just shows you the general map around everywhere. Your usual GPS spot. But now there's a new little button on the lower right corner. It just has like a super basic little outline of a person, and it's a little green button. And it looks like it's like not flashing, but has just a little doop, doop, doop next to it. What do you do?
Well, I assume that's Cascade.
Incorrect.
Oh.
It's a new button.
Oh, well, if it's a button, we gotta push the button. Push the button.
By pressing the button, it now changes the GPS layout to a darker background, almost like it was saying that it was nighttime, but it's just having a darker background there. And you'll notice that there is almost like a echolocation kind of pulse on the screen. And right now it is not showing any specific life forms necessarily, but you do see a red dot, and as you kind of move around Betty, it follows you. So you would assume that is just yourself. Although not technically considered a life form, it does recognize where you are located. You also notice that the actual radius of it is only within 30 feet.
Okay. Well, I see me. Where's Cascade?
How would I know? Maybe you should really invest in a cellular device.
Sure, once we get more money, we'll do that. So I would just check any logs that I would have. Is there any way to contact Cascade or anything? Because I don't know where she's at this point.
Correct. So you don't know what her job situation is. You also remember that you did not sleep in the garage either. You were in kind of like a rest stop for like what would be a real world equivalent of like a truck stop or something like that. Just some place where you would be able to sleep through the night there. But you don't really have a cell phone or anything like that. You've never really needed to contact other people besides Tony, who just contacts you through Joe regardless. So as of right now, you don't really have a way to be able to contact her unless you would try to either get yourself a cell phone, or if you would like to use any of the pay phones that are around, or whatever the galactic equivalent of that would be. But you also don't know what her number is necessarily either. But you do have the actual list in your in Joe that lets you know that you are doing the very late night shift, because you're the only one that doesn't really need to sleep, and so you are likely going to be the most alert during that time. So you pretty much got a full day ahead of you, whatever you would like to do.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be really getting up and starting, I guess, some of the shifts or anything that he had picked out from the other thing before.
Okay, sure. So you take a look at the list from the Callisto catalog that you had. You were able to download that app thanks to Cascade. And so the three options that you had were the pharmaceutical transport, the handyman, and then the companionship one, which is the one that you had expressed the most interest in.
Sure. So whatever first one on the companionship list would be. I don't know, if I don't have a cell phone, I probably can't contact them, or just show up at whatever location they tell me to go to.
So there is an accept button on the little catalog invitation, I guess. So do you click accept?
Yes, I would click accept.
Very cool. As soon as you click accept, it reroutes you to a new page. Sorry, I forgot the word for that. And it opens up and it gives you a address. So it does give you an address to actually follow and put into Joe. And it also comes with a message that says, please wear your fanciest outfit.
Well, I've only got two, so I guess this is it.
And one of them is destroyed by alien slime.
Yep.
Or you could, if you want to go find a new fancy outfit, you are able to do that as well.
I mean, we never really talked about it. How many CCs do I currently have?
Why don't you roll a... Do the percentile dice. The D10, the D100.
Yeah. So that's 77.
77? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you would have 770 cipher chips.
Okay.
At your disposal.
707 CC. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. So you would have like almost like a bank card or something similar, because cipher chips are not physical in any sense of the word. There just isn't anything physical that happens there, but that's what your savings would be, essentially. Okay.
So yeah, hey Joe, can you find us a good clothing store?
Searching. And he sees GPS, he's searching for a clothing store nearby. There is one that does come up that is fairly close by, called the Acclaimed Mask.
Okay, let's go there.
Okay.
So we go to the Acclaimed Mask.
Sure, you remove yourself from the area that you had parked Betty in, and you head on down to the Acclaimed Mask. The Acclaimed Mask is it is a little bit closer to Vesta Sol, and because it is still so early in the morning, you're just out of habit waking up at about 5 a.m. There's not a lot of people that are around just yet, but surprisingly, the store is actually open despite the very early hour. The actual store itself has kind of like those theatrical masks, the happy and the sad one, but one is completely bedazzled out. The happy one is all bedazzled and everything, and then the sad one seems to be a darker color that's wearing like a veil over its face, and that is the massive sign that hangs over this very kind of skinny, squished between two other buildings little store, the Acclaimed Mask.
Okay, and it's open?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Find a place to park Joe, and go on in.
Sure, absolutely. You go into the store, and it is quite dead, as you would have assumed for this early in the morning. But there is a individual that is behind one of the counters off to the left-hand side. A very tall, skinny fellow that seems to have 3 sets of arms. Very almost like bug-like a little bit, kind of like a stick bug. But at where his head is at, it only has 1 eye in the very center. It has 2 kind of little antennae at the top. Says, "Welcome to the Acclaimed Mask. How may I help you today?"
Hi, I'm in need of some fancy clothes.
Fancy clothes, yes. Let me escort you over to the discounted fancy clothing section over here.
Okay.
He leads you into one of the other sections. So what do you find in this discounted fancy clothing section?
So it'd be weird because Alec really wouldn't know what fancy clothes would be since he wears, same 2 outfits. I would imagine there's some sort of, I'm thinking like a ruffle shirt, pirate shirt, if you will. More of a blouse, but like it's got like the collar ruffles or like ruffled sleeves. Definitely picks that up. There would be some sort of like suit jacket, but I say suit jacket, it's more like a smoker jacket, which is a little longer, probably not in the correct color, more of like a lime or like a pea green.
Oh boy.
That he finds. And then the pants themselves, probably just some sort of like plain black or like a charcoalish kind of color. Probably have a stain on them somewhere since it's like the discounted area. He doesn't really care. And then he would look forward to see if they had it, which I'm assuming they do, some sort of like top hat of sorts or fancier hat than his typical newsboy hat that he wears.
And indeed they do, and the one that sticks out to you the most is a velvet magenta top hat that has a massive brown and orange feather that is coming out the side of it.
Yikes. All right.
You've seen fancy people with top hats before. As far as you're aware, this is the perfect match to this pea lime green smoker jacket with slightly off-color white pirate blouse and your vaguely stained, although a little harder to notice, which is why they're still able to resell them, completely black pants.
Yeah.
Do you change your shoes? Do you even wear shoes?
Typically, yes, he would wear shoes. They are typically more of like a work boot-esque kind of thing, more like a Timberland, if you would. Just a normal tan kind of color. So he would look to see if they had like a dress shoe, just something black, probably. Again, they're probably scuffed at this point, some sort of discounted version of them, but yeah.
And not so much a dress shoe is what you find, but more of a clog.
Sure, yeah.
But hey, they're black like the pants, so they gotta go
match,
together, right?
Yeah.
So that is what you find. So for the full outfit, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I will say it would be a total of 55 cipher chips.
Okay, absolutely. And he happily hands over the 55.
Absolutely. I imagine the smoker jacket is, although it is longer, it is abnormally short in the sleeves. So yeah, it's quite a look you've got going on here. Love it.
And then once that is on, or I guess once I purchase that, I would either put it on or go into Betty and put it on.
Okay.
And then head back over to where I'm supposed to go.
You have a changing room, so you're more than welcome to get changed in there as well. All right, so you get back into Betty, and we have, he does have the actual address, 89 Honey Hollow Lane in Orion City. Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
Okay. Intelligence check. Those are my D4s, right?
It is 2 D4s.
Not D4s, D6.
D6s.
One of these days we'll get it right, guys.
I think we both knew what it was. We just said that it was...
Yep. So with the intelligence modifier, I'm pretty sure we're still going to fail. So 3 plus 2 is a 5.
Yes, that is unfortunately a failure, but it's okay. You just know nothing about this actual area itself. You have never, ever had a request to go to Orion City. You know roughly where it is, but in general, you've never had to take any passengers either there or pick them up from there.
Sure.
All right, so you hop into Betty, put in the address to the GPS, and you are off to Orion City. Takes a little while to get to Orion City. You go far out of Vesta Sol. You go far away from all of the kind of neighboring towns and cities that are connected to it. Fairly out of the way. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to get there. But once you start getting into Orion City, you realize that the homes are getting much fancier here. They're getting larger, and there is, many more gates that are kind of around all of these different properties. The properties themselves are massive. You can see as you're driving through, 1, 2, 3 pools per property, and all different shapes, sizes of all sorts of extravagance. Nothing like you've ever really seen, except for maybe what people talk about, their hopes and dreams of that dream castle to live in kind of situation. When you finally get to 89 Honey Hollow Lane, the actual building itself is far back on a very long winding driveway, blocked by 2 massive gates. The building is a 5-story mansion, but it seems to have been shaped very oddly, almost like they tried to make it the size of a regular house, in terms of, you've got your front section, then maybe one little side section, but they wanted to keep building it up more and more. So you drive right up to the actual gates, and there is a little intercom on the side.
I push the intercom. Hello, I'm here to answer the ad.
Takes a moment. Takes another moment. A cat tries to walk by. And then suddenly you hear it click on, and it says, whose ever voice on the other side says, "Yes, hello? Who is this?"
My name is Alec. I answered the ad.
"Oh, yes, the ad. Hold on one moment, please. You can drive right up the driveway. Hold on." And you hear a loud buzz and a click, and the massive gates swing open for you to enter.
We do so.
Sure. You drive up the very long driveway as you pass by many different variations of trees and topiaries. A lot of the topiaries shaped into bird-like creatures. and you head over to the very large mansion. Now, once you get closer to the actual mansion, you realize that the majority of it is in complete disarray. The only section that has actually been maintained seems to be this very front section where you would assume the entrance is. Two massive double doors with handles that look like they've been shaped into almost like peacocks that seem to be meeting at the center. But the rest of it seems to have there's grass and vines and everything growing on the sides and through the windows of some of these, the windows on some of the floors. There's also, you can see there's actual what's the word I'm looking for? Like ropes and not like caution tape, but like things seem to be just kind of like boarded up for the remainder of the entire mansion itself, except for this very front area. But you're able to drive up. You see that there is a massive garage area that has like 8 different doors on it, but there is one that is open that you can pull into if you would like.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely pull in there and then get out of Betty just to see what else is around.
Sure. Go ahead and make a wisdom check. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Just signs of life, basically. See if I can see anybody there. So it's an 11 plus my wisdom, which is a +1, so a total of 12.
Oh, very nice. Yep, that is a full success. In terms of signs of life, you can definitely see that there are lights on in this front main section of this mansion. In terms of the rest of it, it is all dark. You can almost see the dust floating around in all of those different windows on the different levels. In terms of the garage, those two are incredibly dusty. It looks like none of them have really been opened in many, many years. Some of them even rusted shut. The actual driveway itself doesn't seem to be very well traveled. It seems to not have really had much activity in the past few years. But that's all that you really notice.
Okay. Is there like a door or something? So I go to the door and... Hello?
You hear some scuffling. Hear a little bit of movement. Hear a slow shuffle come to the door. And then finally, after many clicks, the door opens. And it doesn't open all the way, just part way, enough to be able to hear the voice on the other side. It goes, yes, who is this?
This is Alec. I answered the ad.
Oh, you answered the ad. Were you the nice young gentleman I was talking to through the intercom?
Yes, that's me. And this is my ship, Betty.
Oh, what a nice little ship that you have there. All right, well, come on in. The door opens up, and on the other side, you see a probably around 4 foot tall creature. Has a small dodo bird type head with a large beak and 3 wilting feathers atop of her head. There's a very long flamingo-like neck that goes into a round squat body with clawed hands and webbed duck-like feet that are snugly fit into pink fluffy slippers. There's tiny yellow scales that cover her entire body, though mostly covered by layers of pastel-colored shawls. She looks you over, gives you kind of a once-over there through tiny spectacles, but she smiles warmly. Yes, what is your name, young man?
Well, my name is Alec. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Dizzatrod Haunt, but you may call me Dizzy.
Well, hi, Dizzy. You're not actually dizzy, are you? You're not going to fall down.
Oh, no, I'm fine unless I stand up too fast. That's why it took me so long to get here.
Well, that's okay.
Well, why don't you come in? And it was very nice of you to answer my ad. Come on in.
Of course.
She leads you inside and brings you towards the left-hand side where there is a wonderfully lit and decorated living room. Now, the living room itself seems to be kind of a... almost like you would think of it as Victorian, at least in our mind in terms of that kind of time frame, but in terms of the actual decor, it's like old modern. So everything's very like white and black and, very simple, minimalistic. But there is a lovely kind of digital fireplace that's in the center. And there's many different chairs and couches and everything. There's bookcases that line the entire place. But one thing that is very odd that kind of sticks out within this living room is there is this 5 foot tall kind of inflatable wacky arms and inflatable kind of thing that's hanging out in the corner. Go ahead and make a wisdom check for me. Wisdom or intelligence, whichever one's higher for you.
Intelligence is higher.
Okay.
So 3 and 3 on the dice, plus 2 for intelligence, so 8.
8, perfect. So these, you don't know too much about them. You've really only heard about them through other people either complaining or, talking about it within your regular routes. These are kind of used as like those kind of like a companion type things, just to have activity in the home of your aging relatives that they can talk to, even though it doesn't really do anything. It's just kind of like a really awful kind of way to kind of keep someone company so you don't have to go over there yourself. Basically it's the worst way to kind of show your love and appreciation to someone, but it's hanging out in the corner. It's lime green, and it's just very slowly doing its thing, waving its arms, But that's the only thing that seems very kind of odd and out of the place.
It's the equivalent of putting googly eyes on a Roomba, really.
Correct. That is exactly what it is. You're like, well, this is my friend now. But she ushers you in and says, "Oh, go ahead, take a seat wherever you would like."
Sure.
Are you hungry? Do you want any snacks?
No, I'm good. I don't really need to eat.
Ever?
No, I'm good.
Oh, well, you gotta make sure to eat sometime. You look like you're just skin and bones. You can tell she can't really see what's going on.
No, I'm fine, but thank you.
Oh, all right. Well, you just let me know if you would like a snack or anything.
Will do.
And she takes a seat in her large, overstuffed armchair, her white armchair, and kind of, exhales some breath, sighs, and just kind of sits there and starts nodding at you.
Well, hi, Dizzy. So what did you need?
What did I need?
Yeah.
Oh, you answered the ad.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yes. So here's my situation. What was your name? I've already forgotten.
It's Alec.
Alec. What a lovely name. So, Alec, I need a favor from you. Mm-hmm. You see, with these old claws, and she's got her little claws all bunched up and everything. It's very difficult for me to really pick up a pen and kind of write. And I'll be honest, my memory just isn't what it used to be. Besides, I don't think one can technically write their own will, at least in this day and age. I don't really know. But this is what I was asking for. I didn't know really what to put in the ad on the Callisto Histo, whatever that was.
Sure. I can help with that. I know how to write.
Perfect, and you are the best thing to come out of this. So what I need is, I already have my will written. Mm-hmm. However, I do need to update it as one of the beneficiaries, one of my grandchildren, very sadly and suddenly passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's okay. They don't visit very much, and it was a little bit ago, so it's fine, but I do need to make sure to update it. Gotta keep this updated as often as possible. You never know when one will leave this universe, as it were. So if you don't mind, I would love your help in just taking down some notes and making some rearrangements to this will.
Sure, anytime.
Okay, well, if you go over to that desk over there in the corner, it should be in that top drawer for you.
So I go over to the desk, look at the top drawer.
Yep. And inside is the actual will itself. It's very simple. Seems to only be about a page long. But you do notice that the page itself seems to have other bits of paper taped towards the end of it. As you'll notice that this will seems to have been rewritten several times. And each time the actual number of beneficiaries seems to go down in number every single revision of it. And at the very bottom was the latest one that had 5 individuals that originally was going to be receiving things out of this will. She says, "Oh, you found it there? Did you? Do you
Yes,
have
I've got it.
Perfect. Well, then, what I'm going to need you to do? Can you find the name Craigie on there?"
I look for the name Craigie.
Sure. Craigie was next to receiving a number of different boxes of jewelry as their benefit from this. She goes, "Yes, if you could cross out Craigie, unfortunately, and if you could add where the Laszlo, if you could next to his line, if you could just add the jewelry boxes to what he's receiving in his beneficiary section." Yes, if you could just add that would be very helpful to me, yes. All right. Well, if you could just, read over that and just rewrite it on another piece of paper, that would be extremely helpful. As you probably have noticed, this has been rewritten quite a number of times, and at this point I don't know if they'll actually accept this will, so if you wouldn't mind just rewriting the whole thing for me, I would be most appreciative.
Sure. Now, it may cost you an extra couple of CCs, though.
Oh, whatever you need, dearie, whatever you need.
So he basically takes it and scans it over, and in his robot handwriting, very neatly, like a printer, dot matrix, and writes it onto another sheet.
Yeah, perfect. As you are writing, could you make a perception check for me?
That's intelligence.
Oh, yes. No, it's wisdom. I'm sorry. I forgot that we're not doing skills.
Oh, no. 4 plus 1, so 5.
Okay. You just keep on writing, and you just feel this weird kind of... There's this weird sense of discomfort, like someone is watching you. And every time you look up, you just see Dizzy sitting across from you, across the room, just kind of nodding and smiling as you're writing out the will itself. All right, you just keep writing?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. It takes you a little bit to get all the specific wording and everything, but because of your, mechanical process, it is done quite easily for you. After probably about 20 minutes or so, you're able to pretty much get everything all rewritten for her.
Okay. All right, Dizzy, I'm all done here.
Oh, you finished already? That was very fast. Would you like any snacks or anything for the road?
No, I'm all set. Like I said, don't really eat.
Oh, you don't eat. You need to make sure that you eat. You look like you're nothing but skin and bones.
It's okay. It's a special diet that I'm on.
Oh, it's special diet. These young people and their special diets, and nobody can just eat a lasagna anymore. It's like people think that there's just negative things in the foods. Well, thank you very much. And she kind of shuffles over and takes a look at the will and goes, "Oh, you have beautiful handwriting."
Thank you.
All right, I really appreciate all the time that you've taken in order to help me out here. Let me just go and get your payment. Just give me just a moment.
Sure.
She very slowly shuffles off down the corridor. I would like you to make another perception check.
Intelligence check?
Intelligence? No, it's wisdom.
Wisdom? Oh, geez, another 3 and a 1. So, 4 plus 1 is 5.
Okay. Even though she's left the room, you still feel that uncomfortable, someone is watching me kind of vibe, but you can't tell where it's coming from.
Okay. In that case, what I would probably do is walk around the room, see if there was anything else, maybe look for, like, I guess the word's peephole. Look to see if there's, like, anything in the wall or anything like that somebody could be watching me from.
So if you're looking for people, you could scan.
Well, people or peepholes?
Peepholes.
Yes.
They sound very similar.
Yes.
Sure, go ahead and make a intelligence check.
That's a 9.
That's
6,
a 9?
1, and 2, yeah.
Okay. As you're looking around, everything's pretty kept pretty put together. There's a lot of dust everywhere. Not a lot of things seem to have been touched in here except for, the fireplace and the chair and just the things that she would be interacting with on a daily basis.
Sure.
Yep.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sure. So in terms of the actual peepholes, not really. Areas of this kind of seem to be falling apart, but there's no specific holes or anything that you're looking for.
Then I would take out Joe to see if anything else blips on the Joe map.
Okay, so you take out Joe, you click on the GPS, and you touch the people button. And you can see that it does the little radar effect. You can see yourself there, and you can see the very slow shuffle of Dizzy as she's slowly getting out of range as she's making her way towards wherever she is going to get the money for you. And there is another blip in the room with you.
Sure. In general relative area, I'm guessing it's our green wavy inflatable arm tube man, wacky wavable inflatable arm tube man.
So you look at the dot and you're like, yep, that's basically where it is. And you look towards him and he's right in front of your face.
Hello!
And he has stopped waving, but still has those two dots and a smile, just looking directly at you.
All right. Well, hello, Fred. How are you?
It doesn't make a sound.
I reach out and touch him.
Okay. You touch him, and the first thing you immediately notice is that although it was moving and you expect it to be kind of squishy material, it's metal. There is no give to it at all.
Okay. So, trying not to metagame and get all those other sci-fi shows that have these kinds of creatures in them that possibly may have other things in them that are similar and spacey and what would maybe be called timey-wimey, we will kind of just take a step back while looking at him, considering he moved when I wasn't looking at him, but kind of keeping eye contact. We'll go with 3 steps back.
Okay, and you take 3 steps back.
And he doesn't move?
He does not move.
Okay, so I just keep my eyes on him as long as possible. Since I'm a robot, I can't blink. Ha! Got him.
You and this wacky wavy inflatable arms man, who no longer is wacky or wavy, have a stare off within this living room. About 10 minutes goes by. Do you still maintain eye contact with him?
Yes. However, I do at some point get Joe ready, so I find the new little thing. So obviously I'm going to have to break eye contact to find these things and get to the little section that has the Alec and put my finger very close to, but not touching quite yet, the new helmet icon for Alec.
Sure. As soon as you look down, you hear the shuffle of Dizzy as she's coming back, and you quickly look back up, and the wacky wavy inflatable arms guy is back in the corner doing his wavy thing. And she shuffles in, and she has her little credit card, digital card kind of thing. She goes, okay, I've got your payment here. I do appreciate all of the things that you've done for me today. This will be very, very helpful. And just as she is about to touch that to Joe in order to make that payment, her cell phone rings. Oh, my goodness. Please, would you mind just holding on for just a moment there, dearie? Oh, goodness, where is that cell phone? She starts looking around for it. Make a wisdom check.
That's a 9 plus 1, so 6, 3 plus 1 is 10 total.
10 total, okay. You notice that as she's looking around her chair and in a bunch of newspapers and things like that, which you haven't seen newspapers in a very long time. But as she's looking through it, you watch her and then you immediately move your eyes towards Mr. Wacky Wavy Inflatable Arms. And although he is still doing his thing, his eyes are now on Dizzy. And they slowly move over to you. And she finds the cell phone, she answers it and goes, oh, hello. Oh, what? Oh goodness, when? Oh no. Oh, all right, well, thank you so much for telling me. I appreciate it. And she hangs up the phone. Oh dear, oh dear. What was your name again, young man?
Well, I'm Alec.
Alec. Could I be a bother?
Oh no, did someone else pass away?
Yes, unfortunately, one of my other grandchildren, one of the other beneficiaries has just suddenly passed.
Well, Dizzy, can I ask a question?
Oh, yes.
Where did you get this green fella here?
Oh, well, this lovely green fella here that I have taken to calling Terrence. Terrence was a surprise gift for me from one of my grandchildren.
I see. Which grandchild?
See, that's the thing. I don't know. I just had a card attached to it that said, "From your favorite grandchild."
Did your other grandchildren get these?
I don't believe so. I mean, I'll be very honest. I've seen these in the commercials that these are really for, keeping company of the old folks like me. So I don't actually know who sent it out of all of my grandchildren, but he does give me a smile every now and then.
Well, I mean, I guess you had 5 and we're down to, 2 now?
5 and now I've got 4.
Well,
There was 6.
okay, but one died, we changed before, now this one, so I guess that's the 2.
Well, it was 6, you changed it to 5, and now we've changed it to, we're going to have to change it to 4.
Okay. Well, this Terrence fella here, does he ever do anything? Does he ever move?
Oh, he moves all the time. He moves up and down with his arms all wacky and whatnot.
Okay. So if you need me to rewrite your will again, I'll just charge you the same fee.
Of course, I wouldn't expect anything less if you don't mind. You are quite kind. I do appreciate the company as you do this for me.
Sure thing. So he'll go back over to the desk, pull out the thing. It's really not much for him, so he'll scan it, but this time he's going to pay much closer attention to see who's getting what, and if there was
Sure.
a better idea of either a grandchild or someone in here that maybe looks like they're not getting enough or would want more, or if there's something specific in the will that they may want, like a lot of cipher chips or the house or something along those lines.
Sure. So you take a look and you actually, comprehend what is really being written within this will. So originally, it had, so this is what the breakdown was. For one of the grandchildren named Zans, they were getting it was listed as getting the extensive salt and pepper shaker collection. Underneath, there was Laszlo, which you updated, who originally was just getting all of the clothing that she had amassed during her years, and that was the one that you added the jewelry to. Underneath that, you have Arix, who is receiving the house. And then under that, you have Knack, who is receiving all of the hover cars.
Oh.
For your knowledge, especially with being mechanically inclined, hover cars would be kind of like the vintage model of the ships that you're currently driving now. No one really drives a hover car unless they're trying to show it off.
But they could still be worth a lot of money
100%,
because they're vintage.
yes.
It's like getting an original Ford car or something.
Yep, exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. And then underneath all of that is her actual fortune, all of the cipher chips and everything, that is being split between all of them.
Okay. So Dizzy, who just passed?
Oh, unfortunately, one of my granddaughters, Knack, she has unfortunately passed away.
Oh.
Seems to have gone peacefully in the night, though, so, oh, wait, it isn't nighttime, is it?
No, it's the middle of the day.
Oh, that's very odd.
Actually, it's very early in the morning.
Yes, it is. Well, it did say that it was peacefully through the night, I guess. And that's just real terrible timing, I suppose.
Well, who's going to get the cars that she was going to get?
Oh dear, who do I give the cars to? I suppose the cars are here, so I suppose Arix would best benefit from those cars. And we'll have to adjust the amount, since now we don't have to split it between 4, but instead 3. I think I've gotten the number of grandchildren that I have mixed up. But regardless, there's now 3 that currently
There's only 3 left, yeah. Well,
There's now 3 grandchildren.
okay.
So originally they were each going to get 1 million cipher chips, but now we'll have to adjust it and split that last million into 3 bits.
Okay, 3, wait, so...
Whatever that number is.
They were each going to get 1 million, which would have been 6, right? So now they're all getting...
So it was... So you had adjusted it for the 4 that were remaining, that each one gets 1 million. So it was 4 million in total.
4 million is
and
her
now there's an
total
extra
wealth.
million that needs to be split up between the 3.
Okay, so 3. Perfect. All right. Okay. Well, while I write this, why don't you go ahead and go back and get my payment?
Oh, yeah, I guess I do have to update this, don't I? All right, give me a moment. And she scrapes herself up from her armchair and then goes and takes her little card thing and shuffles on back towards the back of the house, wherever she had updated to give you payment for the cipher chips.
And once she's out of the room, I am going to take a look at Wacky Label Inflatable Arm Terrence. Is he doing anything?
How long do you wait?
Not even a minute. Like, the second she's out of that room, like, I watch her leave. And as soon as she's out of the room, I look back over at Terrence.
He's just doing his wacky, wavy, inflatable thing.
Okay. I will scan. I don't know how long that's going to take, but scan the old will just to have it in the memory. And then look back up.
Okay, so I would say it takes about a minute in order to get that, at least get it all like memorized stuff, or everything. Yeah. Since you're a robot, I would say that you could definitely do that. Go ahead and make a wisdom check.
Oh no. 2 and 2 plus 1 is 5.
Gotcha. So you take a moment to scan, and you kind of get lost in the scan, making sure to remember every single detail.
It's also because I'm a little more in depth with it to see if there's anything else in there too, to see, you know, if perhaps Eric's or somebody is getting more, you know, now that they're getting the house and the car.
In terms of what the estimated value is for a lot of these things, in terms of the most value, Eric's would now be getting the most. In terms of technically least amounts, Laszlo seems to be getting a little bit less in terms of the estimated quality of it, just because it has a little note there that it was not able to actually go through the full worth of everything, and it depends on, like, for the clothing, if you wanted to like hawk it and sell it, it would completely depend on the actual location. So Eric's is currently getting the most, and Laszlo seems to be getting a little bit of the least.
And Dan's is only getting the salt and pepper collection, though. Like, is that worth a lot? I guess if they're crystal or special designs or whatever, or collector's items, you never know.
Yeah, so, whoops. So the general estimated amount for the salt and pepper collection seems to be fairly on par with what all the hover cars were estimated to be at as well. So it is quite extensive. Kind of an odd thing, but one of those things that if you collect the right ones, can be worth your time. So yeah, you go through that and you scan the full list, and as soon as you look up, he's there, right in front of the desk. He has moved all the way across the room and is now stock still, looking down at you.
I take Joe out. I stand up, maintaining eye contact. Take as many steps as I can.
You can only really take 2 steps back before you're against the window.
So I would, angle out or whatever I can to get what would be my full, say, 30 feet of movement, 35 feet of movement. Get Joe, get to the Alex app. I'm just going to press it.
You're going to press the helmet button, the new helmet button. You were about to press it and you realize that it's new. Originally, it was just a skull that was, just kind of a... general physical kind of thing that you were pressing on before. But now it has a new updated helmet to it. It's still just kind of like a black and white logo. But you go ahead and press that. As soon as you press that button, your watch starts to glow. And you feel your whole body, there's different like wires and stuff that start to tense up and almost feeling like it's alive and shifting within your body. And the watch glows white, and then it glows bright pink, and then bright blue. And there's a blast of energy as it shoots out from the actual watch itself and encompasses your entire arm, crawling up your arm and encompassing your full body. You can feel this like almost chemical reaction within you of all these different like electrical circuits, and a little bit feeling like when that creature before had screamed into your head, where you were starting to short out, but this one isn't painful. Instead, it almost feels like things are disattaching and reattaching to new sections of your body within you. And you see that there is almost like bits of code that you can see that is starting to wrap around your arm and crawl up the rest of your body. And as it goes, it is starting to take almost a physical form, as you can see beautiful chrome silver bracers that start appearing around your arms. It crawls up your body, and you can see you can feel it. There's almost like these very small shoulder pads that kind of spike up on the sides. It crawls down the center of your chest, and there's a big chest plate that appears. You can see that there's a little like almost like a glowing gem or some sort of shield or there's something in the center there. You can feel something wrap around your head that actually pops the top hat off of your head, as you can feel some sort of band, or make itself around your actual head, around your forehead there. It crawls down the rest of your body, and your legs, the bracer type effect starts to grow from the base of your feet up into the legs, up to your knees. That same beautiful kind of chrome, shining silver kind of material that almost like spikes up like they're spiked boots down onto your actual legs itself. Once it settles, you can feel this new weight around you, but it's still very light and easy to move in, almost like this is just another part of yourself. So although you feel technically heavier, you don't feel encumbered by anything. The actual new armor itself that you have now sprouted, there's little lines of bright pink and blue that kind of curve down and jet down your body, and all go into this center plate. And on the center plate, there is an icon that appears. It is almost like a shield, but it's been pinched within the center, so it has rounded edges and a rounded base to it. The top half of the shield is that same bright blue, the bottom half a bright pink. In the very center, there is a 6-pronged star that alternates between black and white shades going around it. You have never seen this icon before, but it is emblazoned there on your chest. And as you kind of look yourself over, in your hands, you feel another weight that doesn't quite appear yet. The watch itself starts spurting out all of these different bright colors, a rainbow effect, as all of these almost like chunks of code start flying out and rearranging itself in your hand, as it slowly forms this coalescence of bright blues, pinks, and they combine into almost like a purple, as a form takes itself within your hand. And as you watch the code extend, a bright purple and pink katana with a wavy purple tint along the very sharp blade appears in your hand. And as soon as the code finishes at the very tip, you feel the physicalness of it suddenly weigh within your hand, and you have this katana with you now. You have taken full form.
Taken first form. This isn't my final form. Great. So during all of that, did wacky, waveable, inflatable arm tube Terrence move at all?
So it took, even though the actual process of itself felt like it took a while, it probably only took about 6 seconds for it to fully form. And you now in this new form with all of this armor that's spiking off of you, you look back and the wacky, waveable, inflatable arms guy now sports a frown and 2 extra arms extend out as they now wave across, and I would like you to roll initiative.
Oh no.
Oh no.
3 plus 2, so it's a 5 initiative for me.
You actually both tie, so let's just roll again.
Dang. It's only a 4 this time, so 6.
Okay, so you will go second. So it will go... We'll just call him WW. I guess his name is technically Terrence, but that's fine. And Alec. Alright, so newly armored up, you now face this lime green, wacky wavy, inflatable arms guy who now has 4 arms instead of just the regular 2. And he starts wiggling very aggressively towards you as he's flailing out his arms. And he is going to make a multi-attack against you. Now, with your new armor, you have a new AC, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Efficiency, which is 2.
Which is 2, so 14 is my AC.
Okay, perfect. So in that case, as you stand there with this new sword in your hand, not 100% sure what is really happening here, it waves all of its 4 arms and it launches all 4 arms at you. The first 2 attacks, it tries to attack you directly, and almost instinctually, without even thinking about it, you tuck and roll out of the way and kind of keep your distance around him, always staying within his reach. The first 2 you are able to easily dodge, but the second 2 land hits against you, as you were, although it was instinctual, not something that you are used to doing. Sorry, I'm just grabbing the dice that I wasn't prepared for. Oof. Oh boy, it's gone forever. Okay, so you are going to take a total of 7 bludgeoning damage as it whacks both arms against you.
Okay.
And now, and that's all that he is going to do. He's not going to be able to move because you are still within his reach.
All right, then I am just going to swipe at him with my brand new katana.
Do it.
Roll to hit. I gotta roll to hit first, which is a 20. It's a crit failure. That's a nice 1.
Oh no!
So, you know.
You're not used to using this new weapon that has just formed itself in your hand, so you're not 100% sure what to do as you just kind of slice down. It's able to noodle its way out of the way there. So unfortunately, not a hit. Do you have any bonus actions or anything like that?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I've got some cantrips, but that's about it.
Okay, sure.
Because I don't think I can use cantrips as a bonus action.
Correct.
Yep.
As a reminder, one of your spells, your Peanut Gallery, you can use that as a reaction once a target has made an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check.
Okay, so I'll use that next attack roll.
Sure, absolutely. So it brings us to the top 2 wacky, wavy, inflatable arms guy. We are going to... Let's see. He's going to try and reach out to grapple you, so I would like you to make a strength check, please.
So again, we're not doing strength. Well, I guess it's just
strength.
Just 2d6s. That's a 6.
A
4 to 2, yeah.
Oh no! So he reaches 2 of his arms out and he is able to grab you, and he is going to basically crush you in a crushing inflatable hug. And again, you always think that it's going to be kind of inflatable and soft, but you realize the entire thing is made of metal, and it's just able to squeeze and crush you. So that is going to be 4 bludgeoning damage. And you are grappled.
Okay.
And that is his attack.
So with that attack, I'll cast Peanut Gallery.
Sure.
And so, however that works for him, he's going to hear 2 voices in his head kind of critiquing. Like, ha! You think that's squeezing? You should feel this! My grandmother squeezes harder than this!
So when he makes the attack, you would do that as a reaction to see if that -1 actually hits or not. But because this was an ability check, he had rolled a 9, so it would just be reduced to an 8, which still be your 6. So it still would have taken place.
All right. Either way, we did it. Cool. So he's hugging me. I've still got sword in hand. I'll try to stab him in the side.
All right. It will be at disadvantage since you are currently grappled.
That, however, is still a 15.
Yeah, that 100% hits. Go ahead and do your damage.
4, 4, and 2, so that's 3d4s with a total of 10 damage.
Oof. Okay.
Unless I add anything else to it, which I don't think we
I don't
did.
believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. Yikes. Actually, you know what? I would like you to roll 2d6 for me. Plus, what modifier do you use for your attack rolls?
It's a dex.
It's dex. Okay, so roll 2d6 plus your dex, please.
9 plus dex is plus 2, so 11 total.
11. So as he's got you in these two arms, you try to finagle your sword to try to get a hit in, and you're able to actually flip it within your hands as they're stuck together, and it slices one of its arms off. So you brought down his multi-attack to 3 and not 4. And it also releases you from the grapple as well, since you did that much damage to it. Okay, that's your go. Are you going to stay right in front of him, or are you going to try to move away?
I'm going to have to stay in front of him, otherwise he's going to hit me again. So, yeah, we'll stay there.
All right, then he's going to do his multi-attack against you. He did not like that. Oh boy. All 3 are going to hit. How much HP do you have?
7.
You have 7? Okay. Alright, you take 6 bludgeoning damage as your watch and Joe start beeping, and you see, very oddly, that exact same warning sign that you remember seeing in your dream. Is that kind of low battery, low fuel, danger warning sign that you see flashing across your sight there. That ends his turn.
In any of those, I could take my reaction. Is there any way to, see if that -1 would take out any 3 of those?
Sure. So I forgot that with the... We're all learning these brand new spells. So with that, I do have to make an intelligence saving throw to see if it's going to be reduced. He is not very intelligent, so... Absolutely not. So that would be a -1 to the first one. What's your AC?
It was 14.
Okay, so actually one of them the very first one will not hit. So actually remove 4.
Okay.
So, or add 4 back to your
4.
health.
Okay, so we'll go back to 5 instead of 1.
There you go.
And then we'll...
You still get that danger warning sign, though.
So we'll take a swing at him with new sword.
Go for it.
That's a 18 to hit.
Absolutely. Roll that damage.
8 more points of damage.
8 more points of damage. You got it. Very cool. So you deal that good laser damage as you're cutting through. It's almost like little bits of this bright pink and purple energy is almost getting left behind and singeing the edges of this creature as you're cutting directly through metal. As you notice that you had cut off one of its arms and are making slices through it. There's like wires and everything behind it. This is almost like some form of droid, not just this weird inflatable thing. There's purpose behind this. This had, actual function that seems to be behind it there. But that is going to be your turn. So he is going to try to do another grapple. So go ahead and make a strength check, please.
Go. 6. Oh, that's a critical success. 2 6s. Get back!
Wow. Dang. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. So in this case, since it was a critical success, he goes and reaches out to try to grab you. I would say that you kind of dodge out of the way, and I would let you get another kind of attack of opportunity here.
19 to hit.
19, absolutely. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right, guys, whoever's out there that is an inventor, we need to find a way to invent a good way to pick up D4s. Because trying to pick up D4s is the absolute worst. You get, like, gripped D4s. Ooh, so close. So 4, 4, and 1, so 9 more points of damage.
9. Woof. Go ahead and roll 2d6 plus your dex mod.
7 plus 2, so 9.
9? Okay. So you go and you take this reactionary attack against him, and you're able to slice through most of one of the arms. You're not able to sever it completely, but he will have disadvantage on one of his next multi-attacks. He is looking bad. There are sparks flying everywhere. There's wires that have been severed. You guys are matching. It's almost like a little bit of a fireworks show as you have like these laser lights going and you're sharing in these different sparks as a little bit of smoke is starting to pour out of this droid. So he is going to make his attacks against you. First one at disadvantage. Absolutely not.
So again, anything that comes close, we're going to do our thing to try to negate it down.
Sure. He'll make an intelligence save.
Yeah, AC of 14, so.
He does actually make that intelligence, so it will not go down there. However, only one hits.
Good.
That is going to be 4 points of damage.
Well, here we go, guys.
As it goes to try to flail out, but one it can't really control, and it's just missing with the other one. And as you're kind of ducking and weaving, he is able to get a backhand right across your body, and you go flying to the ground. But you're able to get yourself back up, and now it is your turn.
All right. So on the ground, Alex is going to be there, and on his new HUD system, he's saying, "Critical failure, battery low, power low, critical failure, shutdown imminent." But now there's a new little thing on the side that's got like spell list. So he's going to access that, and he's going to try to do the Ray of Frost spell.
Okay.
And do that for him. So I'm just going to have to look up what Ray of Frost does.
Sure, I gotcha.
Because my computer's frozen. So if you don't mind giving us just a quick, brief reminder of Ray of Frost.
Ray of Frost. You got it. Ray of Frost. A frigid beam of blue-white light streaks towards a creature within range. You are, of course, in range. It is a cantrip. It is one action. So you are going to make a ranged spell attack against the target.
So that should be fine. It's 13 plus my proficiency, which
Yes.
is 2, plus my charisma, which is a 2, so it would be a total of 17.
Absolutely. So it is 1d8 of cold damage.
Which is a 5.
A 5. How do you kill this thing?
Oh, right. So being so damaged himself, Alec is more or less backing away, kind of in a defensive position with the sword, sees the new thing, holds up his hand, and in the hand, the blue light would glow. And it shoots out of his hand, casts this beam, and hitting the actual wacky waveable inflatable arm turrets there, freezing him in a position of arms up. Standing up, takes his katana, his brand new lovely weapon, whoosh, 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 just 3 quick slashes, and anime style of the 2 slashes going this way and the 1 slash just falling in the middle. And he stands triumphant over his defeat of wacky waveable inflatable arm tube turrets.
And you absolutely do. And now you are faced with 3 separated sections of this very strange droid in the middle of this living room. You're breathing heavily as heavily as well, you don't really breathe.
Right.
But it's almost like just the motion of trying to keep yourself up because you are literally at 1 hit point, if
Correct,
I understand correctly.
Level 1 and level 2, guys, it's rough. Sparks are still flying, trying to patch himself up, going through anything that he can on the new thing to see if there's any kind of healing. I don't think there is yet. But even in his new state, he's going to more or less find somewhere to put the sword away. Even in his new form, go back and sit down at the desk and finish writing out the will for Dizzy. Big fancy man now.
So you look at your form itself. You take a moment now that you're out of this danger, essentially, and you notice at your left hip there is actually a holster for the sword that you have in your hand. It is not actually as long as the sword itself. It's short. It's only about that long, but it does seem to be able to fit the hilt at least. So you go ahead and put it in there, and it just kind of dissolves within there. And just kind of curious, you like take it back out again, and it's still the exact same length. So it seems to just kind of dissolve and adjust itself depending on what container it's currently in. But you sheath it, and with all of your spiked armor, you just kind of crunch on over to the desk, and you finish writing out that will. It is about the time that you finish up that, and you just leave the thing in the center of the room?
Well, yeah, because he's got a job to finish. He'll clean it up after. He'll explain to Dizzy, but yeah, he would finish the new will and, wait for Dizzy to come back.
Sure.
Or if he could finish it before she gets back, he would pick it up and maybe find like a garbage can, or if there's a window, open the window and throw it outside.
Go ahead and make a dex check for me.
Dex is, so it's an 11 plus my 2 dex, so 13.
Perfect. You are able to very quickly finish this before you start hearing the shuffling coming back. So what would you like to do with this?
Yeah, so I would scoop up the parts and chuck them out the window if I can.
Sure, you open up the window that's directly behind the desk, and you kind of just slump them out there, and they fall into the bushes right underneath. You close the door, and you turn around and stand nicely at the desk, just in time as Dizzy shuffles in with her card. It was, all right, well, I've got the payment here. Thank you very much. Has everything been completed?
Yeah, everything's all set.
Perfect.
I do realize in this form he'd probably have a lower voice. Be like, yeah, everything's all set.
Oh, of course. Perfect. Thank you very much. And she goes up to you and doesn't 100% seem to register that you look any different at all. But you hold out Joe in front of you, and she taps the little card on there. You see that you do receive payment. So originally, this payment was going to be 200 cc's for being able to take care of this task. You instead get 500 cc's cipher chips that have been handed over to you.
Perfect. And then with that, I don't have a card to really get her attention. But I do want to maybe start a conversation of, your other grandchildren, are they still alive?
Well, yes. Why? Yeah. I mean, besides the one that unfortunately passed away in the night.
Do you have their address that I could go check on them?
I've got their addresses somewhere. If you go check in the desk, you might be able to find my address book there. Why? Do you want to stop by there?
Yeah, I just want to stop by and let them know that you're okay, and see if there's anything I can do to help them out, since I've helped you out.
That's so nice of you. Actually, that would be wonderful. There's been some presents I've been meaning to, hand out to them. I was going to give them to my grandchildren around the holidays, but unfortunately none of them came to visit, and I just forgot to send them out. So if you wouldn't mind bringing them presents as well, that would be wonderful. Let me go get those. And she leaves. But you're able to take the time to look in the desk itself, and you are able. Actually, go ahead and make an intelligence check. Go ahead and do that.
I don't know if we have crit fails, because that's 2 1s.
Oh boy, yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's fine. So you open up, it takes you a while, you go through a bunch of different drawers and you realize you can't find it, and then you go through them again, you start digging through.
I imagine that it's just like any grandmother's house. The drawer is just cluttered and full of things. At some point we find a tin that looks like it had cookies in it. It's now full of sewing materials, just random scraps of paper with different things written on it.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you found her book of passwords, but it looks to be very old and crumpled, so who knows if she even needs that at some point. But you are eventually able to find the address book. You go through it, and you are able to find the addresses of all the grandchildren that are there.
Okay. So I would make note or write those down on a separate piece of paper.
Sure.
Although he has a perfect memory, so he would scan them into his memory so he knows where they're at. And wait for her to come back.
You can even save them into Joe as well, since it is addresses specifically.
Yeah, type them into Joe.
Sure, absolutely. So you get are you looking for all addresses or only for the ones that are alive currently?
Actually, all addresses.
Sure,
I would
absolutely.
start, and then we'll go through in order once we figure that out.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Okay, perfect. You're able to get all those addresses, no problem. And you're easily able to put it right back in. You even like tidy up the desk a little bit to try to make it a little easier for her to find things in the future, easily before she's able to make her way back here. And she has like 2 different shopping bags of these different mismatched wrapped parcels and everything. So here you go, thank you. You know what? You hold on one more moment. And she leaves in the back.
While she's doing that, I want to take a look at Joe just to see if there's anything, because obviously I'm still blinking and flashing. If there's any sort of
this whole time you've just been seeing red the whole time.
Like, some sort of healing or anything like that through the new app. I don't know if there is.
So there is a section in the actual app itself that says available battery packs, and it says 0 right now.
Sure.
So you would assume that might be something that you could look into for future healing abilities, perhaps. But as of right now, no, there's no way to really get healed up. But eventually she comes back again. She says, "You have been just so kind. It's been wonderful to actually talk to someone again. Since you will be, technically doing another job for me and doing these deliveries, I would love to pay you in advance in order to get this done for you."
Oh, sure.
She gives you another 100 cipher chips. Another 100, not another 800. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Grammar!
We know what you mean. All right. Cool. So we take the cipher chips. We're good to go. And if you need to contact me, you can put it back on the list and maybe put my name in there.
Oh, you mean the Callisto Histo?
Yes.
I will certainly do that.
Actually, if you could just leave me a review, 5 stars is always great, and put my name in there, and then if you need anything in the future, you might be able to direct message me.
Oh, okay. What was your name again?
It's Alec.
She looks down and goes,
"Here,
hey."
I wrote it down for you.
She takes the little note that you have. She goes, "I will do this. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful. Thank you for helping me."
Of course.
She thanks you. She once again offers you for any snacks or trips for the road, which of course you would decline. And she sees you out, and you're able to go back into Betty if you would like.
Yes. But yeah, so he would definitely go back into Betty, leave the area. I don't know if he could plug in or charge at the console as opposed to in his little charge room, or if there's anything there.
Sure.
But basically, what he's going to want to do is find some stores and things. He's going to look for a cell phone now. Now that he's made some extra money, see if he can get in contact with anybody, and then wait for his shift tonight to see if maybe he can find Cascade and give her his new cell phone number, so this way he can stay in contact with her and Tony and Grexis and anybody else there. But also fill him in on what he's planning on doing, because he wants to go visit the other kids to see if anybody else has these wacky waveable inflatable arm Terrences, to ensure that they're all safe. But also see if you can figure out if the other two or three are, well, there's 2 dead, so if they're actually
2 dead, 3 living.
Yeah, so see if the other 2 are actually dead, if they're, and what's going on with them.
Okay, absolutely. As a note, you are able to, if you would like to put Betty on autopilot, if you are going to a destination that you have gone to previously, you are able to do that and take yourself a short rest by plugging yourself in and use your hit dice for that.
So I assume that all of this took maybe, an hour?
Full thing, 2? Probably about an hour and a half, yeah.
Sure.
And you still got about an hour and a half drive back to at least where Vesta Sol was.
Okay, yeah, so he would probably head back. Well, actually, according to the addresses, are any of the children close to that area, or are they close to, Vesta Sol?
They are not anywhere close here. They would be around the same or more amount of travel time in that case.
So what he would do is head back towards Vesta Sol, put Betty on autopilot, go charge up, and try to find, a cell phone store, basically, and then call or see if you could contact the kids before he just shows up at their door.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we'll do that.
Absolutely. So you go ahead and put Betty on autopilot. You head into the back little area where you take a seat, plug yourself in, kind of. You don't shut yourself down fully because it is just a short rest. You just kind of lean back, and allow yourself to recharge and consider the things that have just taken place. And that is where we will end this transmission.
Well, thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Just the Two of Us. Again, check us out every other week here.
Every other Monday.
Every other Monday, we're going to be posting new videos. And then check out the other videos on demand here on the Behold This Crit YouTube channel. And until next time, enjoy your spacewalk.